Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video tutorial, I will explain in Django web applications using jQuery how to count the sum of total salary column from database table. And here we got the final output. Notice the header tags below the table. This is a table is displaying here in this browser, and below we have added the total sum of salaries in the footer of the HTML table. That's it. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before creating a Django web application, first we'll check the table in phpMyAdmin database, which is MySQL server. The table name is the employee, which contains 4 columns: EMP-ID, EMP name, salary, and join date. The EMP-ID column is the auto-generate column. Now my aim is I want to count the sum of the salary, the total salary of this column displayed on the footer in Django web application using jQuery functionality. So let's write the coding part. Before creating a Django web application, first we require one new folder. So let's create a new folder. Right click the mouse, go to new, select folder. The folder name is Django jQuery sum of total is the folder name. Let's browse this folder. Right now this folder is empty. Now we'll create a new application in this folder. I'm using Visual Studio Code to create a Django web application. But before creating an app, first we require to add the folder which we have created in the E drive. For that, go to File and select Open Folder. The folder I have created in the E drive, this is our folder name. So I have selected that folder, click Select Folder button. And here the folder is successfully added to our Visual Studio Explorer panel. At the right side we got the welcome page. Let's close this welcome page. Now we'll create a new app in this application, in this folder. For that, go to View and select Terminal. And here we got our terminal, which is nothing but a command prompt or PowerShell. And also notice the path here. It's displaying E drive. This is our folder name which we have created in the E drive. Now in this folder we'll create an application Django-admin start project. The project name is sum of total is my application. Enter. Sum of total is my application name. Notice here the app is created successfully in this folder. Let me expand this application. If you notice, when I expand this application, there is one subfolder with the same project name and one manage.py Python file. Let me allow this subfolder to expand. And notice here, when I expand the subfolder, there is some default Python files like settings.py and urls.py. All these files and folders has been created automatically when I create this application sum of total. Now after creating the application, now the next step, we'll add one templates folder to our application. So select the application name, right click the mouse, click new folder. The folder name is the templates. Now in this templates folder contains all my HTML pages. So let's add one HTML page in this templates folder. Right click the templates folder, click new file. The file name is the index.html. Enter. And here we got our HTML page. Now after adding the HTML page, next we'll add one models page to this subfolder of our app. Right click the subfolder, click new file. The file name is the models.py. Enter. And here we got our models page. Now this models page contains a properties. So before adding the properties, first we'll add our we'll import our models page, models class from django.db import models. After that, let's define a class. The class name is the emp model, and this model contains models.model colon. Now this class contains the properties. I'm creating a properties for this employee table. This employee table contains 4 columns: EMP-ID, EMP name, salary, and join date. So I require only, I'm adding only 3 columns only. I'm not adding join date, so we don't require here because I want to display only the sum of the total of the salary. So I'm adding emp id is equals to models dot integer field it's a primary key, true. Emp name is equals to models dot char field. Let's add the length of this char field. Max length is equals to 100. Then we require the salary is equals to models dot integer field. Now in this class I'm adding one more class called meta class. This meta class contains a table. These properties are created for this table employee table. So let's add this table employee in this meta class. db underscore table is equals to, between double quotes I'm adding the table name employee. That's it. Let's save this file. Now let's add the views page. Again, subfolder of the application, right click the mouse, click new file, the file name views.py, enter, and here we got our views page. Now in this views page contains the actual logic. So before writing the logic, first we'll import the necessary classes from Django.shortcuts import render class. The render class in Django applications, when we want to render the templates on the browser, we require this render class. After that, we require the models class also. From my models page is inside the sum of total, the application name. So sum of total, my application name dot models import. From this models page I'm adding my class name emp model. After that, let's define a function called salary total is my function name. This function request colon, let's first will fetch the records from the table. For that I'm using a object is equals to emp object, then emp model dot objects dot all method, then this function return. I want to render the template, so request, I'm requesting the template called index.html, comma, the third parameter between double curly brackets I'm adding dictionary to display the records. Between double quotes, a dictionary contains keys and values. Here the key is I'm adding emp model. This class name here, you can add any name here to display the records for the key, but the values we are getting from this object, emp object. Let's save this file, save all. Then let's configure the URLs also. In the URLs, let's give from dot import views. After that, let's define a path call. This path will become our default path of our application. So this is the home page, views dot. I want to render this HTML templates with the help of this function. So copy that function and paste here. Let's save this file. Next step, open settings.py. First in the settings.py, let's install the apps between single quotes. My application name is sum of total. Add the application name in the install underscore app. Then come to the bottom in the template section. Let's add the templates folder name path.join. I'm joining my templates folder with the base directory, comma, I'm adding the templates. This templates folder I'm adding. All my HTML pages will inside in this templates folder. Then come to the bottom in the databases section. Notice the default database engine is the SQLite 3, but here we are using MySQL database. And delete this name also, the default database name. We'll add our database. Our database name is the table employee table have created in the Charan database. So let's add the database name is Charan. After that, we require the credentials. The credentials is user first. User is a root, and the password colon single quotes. Here the password I'm leaving blank because I don't have any password to log into my PHP my admin database. If you have any password, please enter between these single quotes. Then we require the host also. We have to put in the single quotes, colon, the host is a local host, colon, and we require the port number of our database. The port number of MySQL you can find here. See here, the MySQL, the port number is 3308. Let's add that one, 3308. After that, we require the options also, options, colon, between curly brackets, single quotes. Let's initialize the command. I'm initializing the command between single quotes, between double quotes. Let's add between double quotes. Let's set the SQL underscore mode is equals to between single quotes and strict underscore trans underscore tables. Let's add comma here. That's it. We have configured our connection string in this databases section. Let's save this file. And now go to index.html. Let's add the doc type. Let's close the HTML tag. Inside the HTML, I'm adding header section title. This title contains display sum of salary. After that, I'm adding header section. In the header section, I'm adding center tags. In the center tags, I'm adding h1. Let's close the h1 tag here. h1 is how to display sum of salary of the employees, total sum of salary, total sum of salary using Django jQuery tutorials. After that, I'm adding horizontal line. After the horizontal line, I'm adding a table with a border. This table contains a border size 1, then tr, it's a small tr, table headers, employee ID. Next table header is the emp name. Next table header is the salary. After that, I'm adding the table data. That table data we are fetching from the database. So we have more than one record. So I'm using for loop here to fetch the records. Percentage for loop result. Result is an object in the data we are getting from this dictionary key, which is the emp model. Copy and paste here. Then between percentage and for tr td, inside this td I'm adding a expression. In this expression, result dot, first one is the emp id, the column names we need to add. The second column name is the result dot emp name, and the third column name td is salary, result dot salary. We need to add the exact column names what we have added in this table. Let's save this file, save all. Now before adding the functionality to count the sum of total employee salaries, first we'll check the output, the employee table is displaying or not on the browser. First let's add this my application name to the path, cd my application name, enter. After adding the app to the path, let's run the server, python manage.py, run server, enter. See, after I run the server, we don't have any issues. Let's run the server, control plus mouse click, and here we got the output displaying 4 records from this table. See here, the salary, the 4 records. Now I want to count the salary, sum of total salary of these employees and display in the bottom, the footer. For that I'm using jQuery functionality. So when we are implementing jQuery functionality, first we require the jQuery latest CDN link. Open new tab, search for latest jQuery CDN Google, enter, and here we got the search results. I'm selecting the first option, hosted libraries, and in the Google hosted libraries, notice in the library section there is a script which is our jQuery latest CDN. Copy that one, and this version I'm using, the jQuery version is 3.5.1. let's copy this CDN link and paste here in the header section after the title. After that, we'll add the script tag. Inside the script, we'll add the snippet to count the sum of total salary of the employees. First, dollar document dot ready function. Let's close the semicolon. Now in this ready function, I'm defining a variable called emp salary colon, and also I'm defining one more variable for the total salary, variable total salary is equals to 0. Then dollar between single quotes, the total salary, the salary is in the table, the third TD, one is the EMP ID, TD1 is the EMP ID, TD2 is the EMP name, and TD3 is salary. So the nth column, the TD is the salary, TD colon nth child, the child column number is 3, dot each function let's close this function. After that, the EMP salaries, let's fetch the EMP salaries of this TD column. EMP salary is equals to dollar this, I'm fetching this column dot html is a method. Then I'm adding the total salary plus is equals to, I'm concatenating the sum of totals, parse int emp salary colon. Then I want to display this total salary, so for that I'm adding one more TD here. After the for loop, I'm adding new TR after the for loop. TR, if we add inside this TD, we'll get the repeated values. So inside this TD, I'm adding new TD. We have 3 columns here. So first, ID is equals to total salary. Now let's copy this total salary ID and add here dollar, then single quotes. When we are adding IDs, we need to prefix with a hash. Total salary is equals to total salary dot text. I am adding this variable total salary. Let's add the semicolon. That's it. Let's save this file. Save all. Now we'll reload the browser. I'm reloading the browser. See, here we got the total salary is displaying in the first column. So now I want to display the salary here, the total salary in the third column. So let's fix that one. TD, let's add the col span is equals to 2. So I'm adding column span 2, and I want to display, now in this column I'm adding total, and the total I want to display in the bold letters. So I'm adding the style, font, weight is bold, and that's it. Now we'll put this values display in the center. So in the border I'm adding one more style called style text align is the center. That's it. Let's save this file, save all. I'm reloading the browser again, and here we got the final output. Notice the header tags below the table. This is a table is displaying here in this browser, and below we have added the total sum of salaries in the footer of the HTML table. That's it.